Hey there, today I am going to share with you 9 new books that released in March of 2025. I've read all these books myself, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. And then also join the conversation and tell me about a book that you've read this year that you just love, because I would love to hear all about what you're reading and loving. All right, so let's get started. The first one is The Tales of Newel and Doren, The Gorgon's Fury by Brandon Mull, who is the author of the very popular Fablehaven series, has 5 books, then a sequel series, Dragon Watch, also with 5 books. Brandon Mull is one of my favorite authors, and this is so much fun because Newel and Doren are the comic relief in the Fablehaven books, but here they're stepping into the lead roles now. All right, so there is trouble brewing at Fablehaven because there's a Gorgon on the loose, and the normal heroes at Fablehaven are otherwise occupied. So the role of figuring out why the Gorgon is loose and how to stop her falls to the sometimes brave and always mischievous satyrs, Newel and Doren. And so it's so fun. They're they're silly and ridiculous and funny in just a way that only Mull can do. And there's characters that you've already loved that you get to meet again. And there's also new characters that just bring a lot of fun and unique humor to the story for sure. And I really love how, if you haven't read Fablehaven before, like my son has not read any of the Fablehaven books. He's starting with this one and he's loving it, and it's a perfect introduction even for those who haven't read Fablehaven. And it's great too because it's a little shorter than some of his other books, and it has more pictures in it, so it makes it so much more consumable for somebody who's just getting started and entering the world of Fablehaven. We got to go with me and my sister and her husband and our kids to Brandon Mull's launch event, and it was a lot of fun to see and join the excitement about this great new book. The next book is One Wrong Step by Jennifer Nielsen. All right, so Mount Everest is recognized as a mountain of just immense power, something that people try to conquer, something that people know to fear. So back in the 1940s, there's this kid with his dad his dad's in a group that's scaling Mount Everest, and they want to be the first to reach the summit. But he gets separated from his dad. He was supposed to stay at the base anyways. He's with another girl who is also supposed to stay there at the base, but there's trouble going on and there's so much danger. It's just a thrilling adventure in this book. And what I really love about it is how these kids are going along, and this main character, Atlas, he learns so much about himself because there's so many parallels to real life about climbing a mountain. For example, how we can overcome challenges, and this boy Atlas learns a lot about his relationship with not only himself, but with others, and he's also able to really develop some peace, which is amazing because this is a journey of great terror. You know, there's a lot of danger going on this mountain. And so he discovers peace and a way to overcome challenges and struggles that he has in his own life. And there are a lot of parallels that you can take for your own. And of course, Jennifer Nielsen's just an amazing author. If you haven't read other books by her, definitely check this out. So next we have The Ghost of Pandora Pickwick. The world building in this book is just incredible. I love the way that the ghosts are introduced. This is really kind of a unique take on ghosts because this girl, Mia, she's going to stay with her aunt for the summer, and she's always known that her aunt has this great antique shop, so she's excited about that. But this summer, she discovers that her aunt also runs a ghost placement agency. This is really unique for her, and she discovers that there's a way that she can communicate with them, and as she goes on throughout the story, she finds more and more secrets and skills about herself and her family that she didn't know were there before. So it's just a really, really fun mystery kind of adventure with ghosts. All right, next is Right Back at You by Carolyn Mackler. Oh my goodness, what if you wrote a letter to the past and the past wrote back? How incredible, right? So I love that this is written in letters back and forth, and it's just so powerful. The way the characters are able to connect makes me connect with them on a higher, more powerful level. I don't, just in a more intimate way. I just felt so much connection to this story. It reads really quickly because the way it's written in letters and just Carolyn's incredible writing. And it's kind of shorter than some other books. And so it's just so consumable. So this main character, Atlas, he is given this assignment to write a letter to somebody in the past, anybody. So he writes this letter to Albert Einstein and he puts it in his closet. And then the next day he's like, oh my gosh, he goes back to get it and it's gone. But there's this reply from a girl, and they discovered that over 100 miles of distance separates them, but not only that, 37 years in the past. And so they initially need to get over the unbelievable nature of this situation, of this like wormhole, but they start communicating and they're able to support each other through hard times, and this pen pal friendship that they develop help each other through bully relationships and understanding themselves and standing up for themselves and being themselves. And it's just great. I love it so much. And if you want to hear more about it, check out the interview, because Carolyn was a guest on my podcast Book Huddle. Octopus Moon is a verse novel, and it is, wow, it is powerful. It is such an important book to have out here. It is about this 5th grade girl who she's just starting school, and she's like, why am I not feeling like myself anymore? Why am I sad all the time? Why is it so hard to get out of bed? She just doesn't ever want to get out of bed anymore. And it is just so hard for her, and she doesn't get what's going on. So she has this amazing sister, and so with the help of her family and then also a therapist, she learns that she has depression. And I love the way that it's presented and how it's described by what this child is going through, what her depression is like. I loved also the approach of other people's reactions to the depression and what they think of it and how she responds to that. It gives some really great tools of how people can respond. And so it's a great book maybe for those who are going through a similar situation of any age, also for anybody, just to gain some empathy and understanding of what it's like for somebody to have depression. I'm so glad this book is out there in the world. It is such a brilliant, just powerful, wonderful book. You'll love it. All right, so next we have The Deadly Fates. This is part of the Conjureverse series. The first book in the series is The Marvelers. Deadly Fates is the 3rd book in the series by Dhonielle Clayton, and it is a book just packed full of such strong, incredible themes. They just keep coming as you're reading them. So it's about a school for magic and just a very unique setting with very unique characters and skills, and I just love how different so many of the characters are and their relationships. I mean, you just need to go and dive into the story and read it. Wow, just wow. You will thank me that you read it, because it's just one that you just can't wait to read the next book and the next book in the series. Next, we have The House at the Edge of Magic. So 9 is an orphan girl who has learned grit and determination, but at a cost. And that cost is she just really keeps others at bay and away from her. So she kind of has a home with this awful man who requires her to bring treasures to him. In return for, he allows her to sleep like over in a corner. And it's really a bad situation for her. But one day she's out and she is on a thieving run trying to get something, and she discovers this magical, incredible house, and the residents within and all their quirkiness that she just finds it ridiculous, and she wants no part of it. She just gets roped into helping the residents of this magical house try to save the magical house before it is too late. And there's a lot of banter between these quirky characters, and of course between 9, and it's just a whole lot of fun with the way that they interact and the magic. Next we have I Know What UFO Did Last Summer. So the main character in this book, Marv, he just cracks me up. He is utterly convinced that there is an imminent alien invasion for Earth's impending doom. It's just on the way, and he is constantly on the lookout. How is he going to stop it? How is he going to protect Earth? And so he and 2 of his friends are just pulled into this mysterious adventure that may or may not involve some extraterrestrial powers in the universe. And it's pretty quick and just a thrilling, fun ride. And just like I said, this character Marv, he cracks me up, and the book's got wonderful themes about friendships and being true to yourself. Check out the interview that I have coming out with the author Kevin Garone as well. The last book that I wanted to tell you about is Underwild, The River of Spirits. So it has this familiar sense of danger and excitement like Percy Jackson and the Kane Chronicles, but Underwild has its own unique voice and tenacity that it brings to the world of middle grade fantasy. The main character, Senka, is a young girl who knows that her purpose is to eventually become the assistant to Carolyn, who is the denizen of the underworld in charge of ferrying spirits across from the shore of the living to their afterlife, wherever that may be. And so she just goes on this incredible adventure in the underworld where she is discovering things about herself and things that she never knew in all of her schooling about the underworld. She's constantly just learning new things and incredible things, and she's learning who to trust and what she should do. She just doesn't even know, like, if she should follow this through to the end or what. And there's just some pretty crazy trouble going on in the underworld that she's in the midst of it all. But who would have thought that somewhere in the realms of the underworld that there could contain so much hope and excitement for somebody like Senka. It's a great adventurous ride, especially for those who enjoy mythology. All right, so tell me in the comments below, which of these 9 books are you most looking forward to reading? And also, if you have not, you should definitely go and check out my podcast, Book Cuddle with Readgab. It's available here on my channel as a video podcast, and also anywhere that you enjoy listening to traditional audio-only podcasts as well, on any of those platforms. And I would love if you also rate and review it, because that will help me keep going and keep interviewing more great authors of children's books. All right, thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.